Good morning, Year 10. I hope you had a nice weekend. It is a bit miserable out there, a bit dull today, but hopefully it will brighten up a bit later on and we can go out for our little bit of exercise as well. But in the meantime, I've just made this video which highlights all the different bits and pieces of that exam question you had a look at from the Welsh board. Now, it was the GCSE Design Technology Resistant Materials one, but what it did highlight is some key areas that we have gone over recently, both in our theory and also our Unit 1 prep. So I thought it was a particularly good one. So what I would like you to do is I'm going to go through the answers one by one and explain the reasoning behind it. I would like you to mark your paper, mark your answer. As I will put down in the description, I want you to create a Word document or some other document, and I wish you to just sort of communicate back to me what you got, what sort of score you got. And I want you to highlight the areas that you missed out and what are the key problems there. So, for example, we'll go over this at the end, but an example would be in the specification. If you got that slightly wrong or you missed a mark because you didn't explain things in detail enough, I want you to be able to recognise that fact. I don't want you just to go, oh, I got it wrong. I want you to really understand exactly why you got it wrong. So maybe annotate your paper, do something as on a Word document so that you are thinking about it, because it's very important that you don't just mark these, given a score. That's not the whole point of the exercise. If you've got something wrong, we want to know how you can improve and do it better next time. So, question 1. This project is about product analysis. It is worth a total of 15 marks. Product analysis is a cornerstone of engineering and product design. It is such an important part, and you will be having a question similar to this in your exam. So don't think this is unusual, and it was one of the reasons why I have really pushed product analysis as much as I possibly can. Study the images of the folding desk and chair unit shown below and answer the questions that follow. So you can see we've got a colour picture, which is unusual for an exam question. So they've splashed out a bit. You can see that we've got a folding chair here, folding chair and table, well, a little stool and table actually. You have got these bits just here that come down. You can see that we've got them linking just there, and you've got these green sections for the top of the table, the seat itself, and also like a shelf part, and you can see it sort of folds up like this. Just a little bit on the flimsy side, but it's obviously going to be for sort of camping. It's got product features, materials, so it gives you the materials. Hopefully you would have been able to guess this anyway, and I know certainly as soon as I looked at it, I knew that the plastic was going to be ABS. Reason for that is ABS is a tough plastic. It's a very tough plastic. The laptop that I'm using at the moment is made out of ABS. The chair I'm sat at has got metal, yes it has, but it's also got ABS sections as well, because ABS is a very tough plastic. It's impact resistant. It does have a certain amount of flex, which is good for these types of products, and it doesn't generally sort of shatter, but what it does, it has good impact strength. In other words, it can take a flex and then come back, but it's not too floppy. Stainless steel, in its name, stainless steel is absolutely crucial because it is stainless. So really, really important there to have that stainless steel as part of the thing, because especially if it's going out into the outdoors, which I imagine this is, you're going to need to be able to resist any kind of corrosion from moisture. Folds easily, weighs 6.5 kilograms, and is priced at just a penny under £45. So all fairly straightforward. Then it goes, a specification has been written for the folding desk and chair unit. Study the headings listed below and match the correct heading to the most appropriate specification point. So they've actually done it in a backward type of way. They're asking you to match these headings to the actual specification points. So you've got heading and then you've got what the actual thing is. So it's got an initial batch of 250 products will be produced. Well, I think this one is very, very straightforward because that is going to be scale of manufacture. And I've got this just on here. You can see this is the official mark scheme. And as we can see, you've got scale of manufacture is just there. The folding desk and chair unit is designed to be suitable for adults. And that is obviously going to be your target market. And then finally, it's got down, third one here, the folding desk and chair unit should support the weight of the user without breaking. So you've got there, well, it's obviously not going to be sustainability. None of those are sustainability. But the safety considerations are there because it's all very well and good making it for people, but you've got to imagine worst case scenario, let's say. So some of these, it's got to be able to support the weight of the user without breaking. Looking at that one, I'm not sure if it could support some people I know, but certainly not if they even lean on that bit just there. It's very flimsy, but that's heading there is going to be for safety considerations. So you get 1 mark for each of those, a possible 3 marks overall for that particular part. So nice and straightforward. B, complete the table by explaining the reasons for the choice of materials used to make the parts of the folding desk and chair. Now, I've already discussed both of these, so these should come as no surprise to you. Stainless steel. Now, the mark scheme, let's have a look at the mark scheme and what they describe on this one, because this is where you're going to have to mark your own. And I want you to really think about how many marks you've got. And a lot of it comes down to exactly how you do it. And remember, I've talked about writing the question, read, annotate, and think it. And also that fact that you have to add and explain your findings, PEE, paragraphic type of thing. You've got to think of that one. So if you're looking at this one, it says here, no answer or an inappropriate answer. 1 word answers, strong, hard, cheap. Appropriate reason for lacking detail, award 1 mark. Stainless steel is durable and hard wearing material. So for example, it gives you that, but you're going to, because each of these are worth 2 marks, you've got to give a decent explanation. So yes, stainless steel is durable and hard wearing, but what effect does that have on the product? An appropriate reason, well detailed, award 2 marks. E.g., stainless steel is tough and durable material, which is what the other one said, which will support the weight of all users without breaking or failing. Or you could say stainless steel is a durable and hard-wearing and corrosion-resistant material, therefore it will not be damaged by the moisture present when it's outside. These are the things that you've got. It doesn't need painting, therefore cutting down on costs and manufacturing problems. Each of these is a reason behind it. Now, the ones that they've got down for stainless steel, resistant to corrosion, which we've already mentioned. It's stainless steel, so it's resistant to corrosion. You need to put that into a sentence. If you've just put resistant to corrosion, 1 mark. Put it's resistant to corrosion, therefore the table can easily be used for camping and going outside without fear of it rusting. That will get you the 2 marks. Resistant to wear, so again you could say that one, it's resistant to wear, therefore the continuous use of folding and unfolding will not make the metal brittle. Good strength to weight ratio of the tube. Again, stainless steel is a fairly light material, which means that it's good for a folding chair, which is going to need to be carried around, both in a car and also potentially by hand, and can be extruded into a round section, which means that it reduces the overall weight, but while still maintaining structural rigidity. Things like that. So look at your answers. Have you got 1 mark or have you got 2? You only get the 2 marks if you've justified your answer. Absolutely crucial that you do that. So an example here as well, appropriate statement but lacking detail, award 1 mark. ABS is durable and hard wearing material, which it is, but you haven't actually given any real key to that one. So why does that actually, what impact does it have on the product? So appropriate statement, they'll get a full 2 marks. ABS is a durable material which is also lightweight and stain resistant. So you've got it's lightweight and stain resistant. That's key. You could put down it's a lightweight and strong material that can be injection molded, allowing it to be formed into different shapes and also in different colours. That type of thing is perfectly awarded. So you've got to give what impact does it have on the actual product? Why have they chosen it? So it's okay mentioning the properties, but you really need to drill down and give a justification for the reasoning. So ABS you've got is able to be injection molded into a shape, which I've already mentioned. High impact strength, I've already mentioned. Excellent appearance and finish, takes a lot of detail, can come in a range of colours. Inexpensive to replace, so yeah, you can replace the injection molded parts quite quickly. Available in a range of colours and stain and chemical resistant. It doesn't, sunlight for example, it doesn't damage ABS. It's used a lot in car manufacture because of that. It's not damaged by UV light. Then we have got down here the C question, the C part. So if we come down, so that's those 2. Those are worth 2 marks, so you can add those up. How many did you get out of that one? Folding is one of the product's most important design features. Discuss the advantages that folding could give to the customer. Well, if I was going to do this yet again, and this is where I always say about ratting the question, without even looking at the answers that were given previously, it's asking for 2 points. So just as in the previous one, you must get into the habit of justifying your answer. So folding is one of the product's most important design features. Discuss, so it's using that word discuss the advantages that folding could give to the customer. So it's the whole point of folding, and it's asking to discuss. So there's almost a case that you need maybe 2, or you need to have a justification. So it's using the language there to pinpoint what it's expecting to get from you. If we look at what it's like of this particular one on the C, appropriate advantage but lacking detail, award 1 mark. The desk can be stored when not in use. So you're not justifying it, whereas an appropriate detailed statement would be the desk can be folded compact and stored efficiently when not in use. So in what it's talking, there's a slight difference there. Desk can be stored when not in use. The desk can be folded compact and stored effectively when in use. But it's saying something about it, the fact that it can be folded and be compact, reducing its overall space that it takes up, and therefore it efficiently uses that space and efficiently can be stored. Answers could include, for that one, easily carried or transported. So for example, you could say the desk can be folded and therefore easily transported. Say for example, in a car it can be laid down flat. Space saving, desk takes up much less space when folded. So you can say takes up much less space when folded, which means that it can be slid behind objects, or it can be placed in a shed and slipped down the side, and it reduces the amount of space it needs. Can be taken away so the space can be utilised for other purposes. And an ease of stacking and storing. So again, you can easily say because it goes flat, you can place things on top of it. It can go underneath things. It can be slid on top or slid underneath a bed. These are all examples. And this is where you're thinking about that wider use of the product. Let's have a look at D as well. Hopefully you got 2 marks for that one. If not, please make sure that if you are one of those students that you haven't done that full answer, I really want you to pick these out, because a lot of these is about that justification, about building on your answers. A lot of them are 2-pointers, and it's a skill that you really need to build up. So if we come on down here to D, before designing the product, a large number of people were asked to choose the most important factors when buying portable furniture. This is what we would call a focus group. The chart below shows the number of people who chose each factor. So we've got here, this is something that you will do as part of research a lot of the time. You may well do the similar type of thing later on as well, especially if you continue to A-level product design. You will want to know, you do a survey, you want to find out what people want. So you can see here from the people, and I don't know if it said how many people, no it didn't, a large number of people, so we don't know what large number is, but I suppose you could actually add all these up. So you can see here that we've got a number of chunks of this pie, and you've got the largest one just here is price. So unsurprisingly, the price factor is a big importance. Aesthetics then comes in. Now this is an interesting one because we're not even talking about how well it works. For me, I always think about it, the actual function of the product, how well it works. And we're not even seeing that on here, but there you go. Safety was 25, dimensions, how big it was 31, and weight was 21. Calculate the total number of people who were asked for their opinion. Interesting, I mentioned we didn't know how many. Well, it should be pretty straightforward. All of you should have got this. You should have just added all of those ones up. And if we come on to those answers, you will see the correct answer is 180. Anything less or more is no marks. Okay, so straightforward and simple for that one. Second part, calculate the percentage of the total number that identified the price as the most important factor, and then show workings. Now, you should know this. This is a simple calculation. It's about the percentage of people that identified, price as the most important factor. So we're looking at 58 over 180. So again, one of the things that this can be, if you did add it up wrong and you didn't get 180, then you're also going to have a problem with this one. This is where error carried forward. If you have actually worked out the percentage correctly for an answer that you incorrectly added up, I would give you a mark for that. But that's going to be down to you to decide. You probably wouldn't get 2 marks because you would not be able to get the actual answer, but you would get a mark for the way in which you calculated it out. So as long as you've shown your calculations, you can get 1 mark. So if we have a look at what we've got down on here, no answer or answer that does not match the mark scheme. The price is 58, the total of 180. Percentage of total number that chose price is 58 divided by 180 or over 180, and then times by 100 gives you 32.2%. Answer that is 32.2 without workings can be awarded 1 mark. And I would also say that if you got the wrong answer for the previous one and you say I put down 179, but you did the working out, I'd still give you a point for the working out, even though it doesn't actually say, it does not match the mark scheme. You still get one that is correct. People, a little bit of leeway on that one. Next question. The manufacturer of the folding desk and chair unit has made an initial batch of 250 to sell at the launch of the product. Describe the reasons why no more than 250 have been made. Now, a launch, I mean, often you think of things more glamorous than folding chairs. I would obviously think of cars, because that's what I would do, but a product launch, I always think of it as a nice sort of swanky sort of occasion. Cars, for example, will be launched at motor shows, but things like a folding desk may well have a private party. It may well be at sort of homewares exhibition, and they demonstrate this new wonderful folding thing, and it will be, it's there for people who are buyers. So buyers for furniture wear stores to come along and go, oh, that's an interesting new product. I really like that. We will put in an order for 5,000, and we would like them in a multitude of colours. That's what a launch party often is about, and sometimes it can even lead to changes in the product. So the manufacturer of the desk and chair has made an initial batch of 250. Describe the reasons why no more than 250 have been made. Now, the reason for this, I would say, is always about ironing out the problems, seeing where you want to be able to give people samples, but you don't want to make thousands and thousands and then the product doesn't really sell. You're even more out of pocket than you would have been before. And that's quite an important one. Let's have a look and see what they've actually put down for this. It's got here, no description or an appropriate description but lacking detail, award 1 mark. So again, we're in the same territory. Appropriate description includes some detail, award 2 marks. The manufacturer would make enough to satisfy early demand, but not too many in case the product did not sell. Which is exactly what I've said. Samples to go out and go, here's our new folding desk. Don't know why they chose that. It's such a boring product, but there you go. That's examiners for you. Appropriate description, well detailed, award 3 marks. So this one even takes that justification one step further. So let's have a look and see how they've done this one. And really, if you'd seen that, you'd go, oh, right, okay, 3 marks. It's got to go really be nice and detailed. And we'll see, this really does, it really does cut down to the people at the top end here. So if we're thinking about this one, appropriate description, the manufacturer would make enough to satisfy early demand and to place the product in the public eye, but not too many in case the product does not sell. So you can see there, to satisfy early demand is one of the key bits, to place the product in the public eye, but then also not to have too many, so just in case it doesn't sell. So we need 3 individual points. So going back to mine, make enough so that there was enough for people to sample at the launch and prospective buyers to have a look at, while at the same time not having too many made just in case the product didn't sell. And that would be the 3 points. Answers related to, it's got just in time, JIT. We haven't done much about this one, but some of you may actually know that. Just-in-time manufacturers where you only make enough for the selling at that point. You don't have a massive warehouse full of stuff and then try and flog it. What you do is you take an order for 5,000 and then you make the 5,000. You've got all the parts ready and the whole production line ready for it, but it's done very, very quickly. And in fact, actually, that's largely how most things work. So again, going back to the automobile industry, you will buy, you're buying a new Jaguar, for example, because they're very much into their just-in-time manufacturing. You will spec it with climate control, leather seats of a certain colour, a certain dashboard, a size V12 engine, actually W12 probably with the Jaguars. Each of those bits are added to that car as it goes down the production line. All those options, the colour of the paint, etc. The next one in the line may have something different. So just in time literally is, don't make cars and then try and sell them. Sell them first, then make them. Attempt to predict the potential in the market. So you're testing the water. That's another good one. You're just going to see how it goes. You're only going to do 250, maybe get some more testing from your target audience. Further batches can be made according to initial response. So again, that goes back to it. So any of those, try and mark this one. This one's a tough one to do, but you've really got to have 3 individual points within this in order to get the overall. Now, if we come down from that one, question number 2. This question is about the general issue of design and technology. It is worth a total of 10 marks. And it starts off here with this plastic carton in the photograph displays the symbol highlighted. And notice they call it a plastic carton because they want you to figure this one out. So we know, or you should know, that 6 on the SPI codes and the initials PS will stand for polystyrene. And this one is most probably expanded polystyrene because it looks like it's a burger kind of thing, and therefore expanded polystyrene has a greater amount of air holes in it and gaps, therefore producing a far more insulative material. State the 2 pieces of information that the symbol tells you about the material. Well, you've got here the fact that it's recyclable, so you know it is one of those materials that can be recycled. That it's number 6 on the SPI codes could be another bit of information. And the name of it, the polystyrene. See what they say about it on the paper, on the actual answer paper. The material can be recycled. The material is polystyrene. No explanation or incorrect explanation for the third part, so we'll have a look at that one. Explain why manufacturers are expected to put these symbols on the products. Well, the most simplest one is to allow the consumer to know what type of plastic the product is made out of, and if it is recyclable, and if so, where. So it's an important thing to identify because not everywhere might recycle polystyrene. Let's have a look and see what they've got there. Again, the justification is needed. So the material can be identified, so the material can be easily identified and separated from other materials at the recycling centre. Good point there. So that the recycling centre can also do that. Overuse of resources, fossil fuels to prevent global warming, ease of recycling, identification of material or recycling centre so that the packaging can be recycled into another product. All of these, but remember you only get 1 mark if you just put a simple answer, needs to be justified in order to get the 2. So you can see there's so much about justification. Loads of it. Complete the 5-step risk assessment below. It's got identify the hazards, identify who could be harmed, and it's got the third one, then record the findings and review the results of the risk assessment. I have to say, this one slipped in, and I did think about getting rid of it because it's not something we've covered, but it's an extra. It's only 1 point. This particular one, if you look at it, evaluate, reduce the risks, control the measures. It's just 1 point on there. So it's not a biggie, nice and straightforward and simple. And then finally, the last page on this, explain the role of the British Standards Institute, or BSI. Now, the BSI, we have spoken about this one briefly, but I don't think we've gone into a lot of detail on it. A quick Google search will tell you exactly what that is, and some of you, I'm sure, are cheating by doing that one. The BSI is a British Standards Institute. It has the kite mark. What it does is it tests, quite rigorously tests products and the different categories, and it just certifies, if you see the BSI kite mark, you know it's been tested and it is safe. So, a number of different ones. The CE, which is the European Union version of this, not quite as high-tech as well, not quite as specific about it, but it's basically a safety mark. So as a consumer, you can go, oh, it's got the BSI kite mark on it. That means it's been tested a lot. I know that this product is perfectly safe for me to use in my home. It's not going to catch fire and kill us all. So that's, in a nutshell, what it's all about. And you can see that here. Again, it's a 2-pointer, so they want that double award. They want you to justify it. The BSA sets standards for products. The BSA sets for standards for manufacturers to follow in the designing and manufacturing of their products. I'd say to make them safe. So, interchangeability of parts, certification marks such as the kite mark ensure buyers that the product is reasonable quality, and safety considerations on there as well. So all of those go in to give that customer satisfaction. Explain what is meant by the term sustainable design. Now, it's a 3-pointer, so they're going to want a lot of marks on this one. And it's quite a tricky one, if I'm honest with you. We've got here appropriate explanation but lacking detail award 1 mark. To protect the environment, it's 1 mark. Appropriate explanation including some detail to protect the environment by designing and making products which do not cause harm. So that would be a 2-pointer because you basically made it into a 2-point paragraph. And to get a full marks, you need a 3-point paragraph. To protect the environment by designing products which do not cause harm as a result of their manufacture, use, or disposal. So it's that manufacture, use, and disposal, the life cycle. Remember, we have done about the life cycle of the product, and that's a very important term. The fact that you've got that life cycle, and as a good designer, you should do that. Not many designers do that. It has to be said, and we really need to be doing it a lot more. The social and economic environmental implications of design. Considerations of environmental issues when designing new products, sourcing of materials, energy, manufacturing, transportation. You can see all of these bits come back to that life cycle analysis. Really anything along those ones, as long as it goes back to protecting the environment, reducing the impact on the environment, both when it's being manufactured, when it's in use, and when it's disposed of. So making sure it can be taken apart and recycled is an absolutely crucial one. So give yourself a maximum of 3 marks out of that one. And that brings us to the end. These shouldn't have gone on to any of the others, and I'm not going to talk about all these bits and pieces because you don't know, certainly none of these. Beth and Gray, I'm sure you won't know who those people are, and I did ask you not to do it. So that's what I'd like you to do. I want you to mark those, give yourself an overall mark. It's question 1 and it's question 2. So you can see that maximum mark is going to give you a maximum mark of 25 for that particular paper. So nice and easy to work out your percentage because you just times it by 4. Dead easy. That is those ones. I'd like you really to let me know which questions you had a problem with. So a Word document just saying, right, these are the ones I had problems with. What did I do wrong? And what am I need to do next time to improve? That's what I want to see in this assignment today. There is a little bit of an extra one that I'm going to tack onto the end because that shouldn't take you, I know this is a very long video now, but it shouldn't take you too long to go through all those bits and pieces. What I would like you to do, and this is a little bit of an addition, we've got a little bit more on the researching into finishes, and this time it's going to be, I'd like you to add on the bottom of the last one you did for your metal finishing, I forgot to put down enameling. Really important to add this one in. It's not used that much. Enamel is like this one, this drinksware, where they put this very hard coating on the outside, similar to powder coating, but it's more of a glass-like and can chip off actually, because it's quite brittle, but it's very, very hard, and it's often used in sort of cookware, so you have this sort of enamel on the outside. I'd like you to just put a paragraph in so you know what that is. And then treatments for wood. I'd like you to put a little bit of a paragraph for paint. Now, if you've got your good old-fashioned exercise book on this one, you'll see that we've got that one. So the painted wood, we've got varnished wood, staining wood, and waxing wood. What actually are there? Paint is just different types of cellulose paint, and it just stops the air getting to it, and it changes its colour. Varnishing gives a clear coat over the top, which enhances the grain, and again is usually based on the sort of cellulose, so similar to the paint, and it protects it from moisture. Wood staining can change the colour of it, so that you can take a light sort of pine wood and make it look a lot darker if necessary. Plus it also stops the rotting process and damage to it from outside, from the water and etc. And finally, wax does exactly the same thing, but it uses a layer of wax which obviously resists moisture. It's largely about resisting moisture and protecting the wood, but just a little bit of a paragraph for each of those 4, and I'll put those in there. There's no particular thing that you need, but just think about, putting down a little bit of a paragraph. The bits and pieces in the book will guide you. If you haven't got that, just put down a paragraph from the internet. The most important thing to me, though, was really to get that exam question out of the way. Sorry that was a super long video, but at least it goes over in great detail, that one. And I'll look forward to seeing what you got as far as those are concerned. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.